Good evening and welcome to this meeting of the Common Council for the City of Huntington on February 11th, 2025. Prior to the beginning of tonight's business meeting, we'll have an invocation led by Jimmy Stanton of New Life Ministries, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Christy McElhenney. Those who wish to participate may rise at this time.
Father, Lord, we do thank you for this day. Each day is a gift, and we thank you for it. We ask, Lord, today that this day is not ended and there's business that is conducted here. And Lord, we just ask for your presence to be with these leaders of the community, the mayor and councilmen. And we just ask, Lord, you be with them, but also with the community here that's showed up. And we just ask a blessing on Huntington. We ask a blessing on our leaders. Your will be done upon this county and the city. And just say thank you, Lord, for all that you're doing here in Huntington. We ask a blessing on it, blessing on this night and this business meeting as well. In Christ's name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and we'll call the meeting to order, beginning with a roll call.
Brodigan,
Present.
Chapman,
Present.
Felton,
Present.
Funk,
Present.
Johnson,
Here.
Pike,
Present.
Redensberger.
Present.
Thank you. And moving along on the agenda, not aware of any public hearings this evening, so we'll move to consideration of minutes from the previous meeting of January 28th. Is there a motion to bring the minutes to the floor for consideration and adoption?
So moved.
A motion and second. Further discussion and consideration of the minutes? Not hearing any at this time, we'll call the question in favor of adoption of the minutes as submitted. Christy?
Chapman,
Yes.
Felton,
Yes.
Funk,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Pike,
Yes.
Redensberger,
Yes.
Brodigan.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving along to reports from committees, boards, or commissions. Charlie?
I have nothing this evening, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Paul?
Nothing here.
Dwight?
Yeah, a couple. I went to my first meeting of the Local Emergency Planning Committee a couple weeks ago, and that was good. And then Lime City Development met that same week out at Onward Manufacturing, and it was also a good meeting. If you're interested in buying a $9,500 grill, you can get one.
Made right here in Huntington.
Yep, top of the line stuff.
Thank you, Dwight. BJ?
Yeah, solid waste met yesterday, and we passed on a 6-1 vote to keep the recycling at the West Park Drive location, keep the contract, renew the contract with GFL. We are going to get set hours posted on signage, and there will be an attendant down there, somebody that works for solid waste, to monitor what people take in and make sure people aren't taking trash in. That's the gist of it. I think we got those hours determined yesterday. Monday, what was it, 7 to 3? 7 to 3, Tuesday, 10 to 6, closed on Wednesdays, Thursday, 7 to 3, and then, yeah. Yep, so, that. And then the second Saturday of every month, yes. But 8 to noon. Perfect, there we go.
Thank you, PJ. Todd?
Huntington County Economic Development Board, last year was our 4th best year in the last 17. We were recognized again from a national publication, which Mark will talk about that in a future meeting. And we've already got $3 million in interest. $3 million in new business development this year already. So we're looking to have another good year to bring businesses in, and we got some things cooking. This morning we got a water report. I didn't realize this, but when new companies come into the city, they ask what kind of water supply we can have for them, so they know if, like, food services, you go through a lot more water, industry goes through a lot more water than residential. So We got a water report today to see where we were sitting on all our water supplies and everything. That was pretty interesting. So, and that's about it.
And the key fact from that report is that our water supply is good and healthy and well
Yes.
provided, right? Yep. Andrew?
RDC met last week. Really, the only thing of note is that the HK Porter project may be slightly delayed just due to the federal government and the EPA right now, because we're waiting on a lot of money and time from them to get our HK Porter building demolished. But as of right now, nothing too scary, but it could potentially delay it long term.
Thank you. David? Nothing. Emma's not available with us tonight for that Viking thing, but we do have several of the other students that participate. They're in the back. Want to recognize as they move forward on their projects that they shared about at the previous meeting, they're continuing to plan and work through that process of all the fun hoops that go into adulting well and project management, like how is insurance going to cover this, and how do we make sure that it's accessible for everybody? So I think they're learning a lot, and I hope they're enjoying it too, because we're enjoying working with them. So next up is Stay the City. Again, as is tradition, here to present tonight to City Council, and then we'll have more public presentation later this week at the Huntington Arts and Entrepreneurial Center. Friends and neighbors, it is with gratitude to the giver of all good gifts that we usher in 2025, and we look forward to the work ahead of us. We look to the divine throne whose foundation is righteousness and justice as we commit to serving this city by walking in truth and mercy in our daily work. We have a duty to one another and to ourselves that we cannot lose sight of. We know that life together is difficult. We know that self-government is challenging. We know the temptation of competing agendas. But we also know that we are up to the task of working together to leave this city better than we found it to our children and our grandchildren. Much has been given to us by those who have gone ahead of us, and much will be demanded of us in the days ahead. Life is complex, and it is intense. Political and social energy of today is often draining, especially as a new president and a new governor promise major disruptions. And after all, there is a lot that needs reformed at all levels of government and other sectors of society. These disruptions may offer that opportunity. That said, it will require us all not to lose sight of that most sacred of duties, to serve and love our neighbors as we would seek to be loved and served. The form of society and the public square must be geared towards the common good for all residents if it's to be a worthwhile venture. In accordance with this highest ideal, we commit ourselves daily towards serving the city we call home and the family, friends, and neighbors that truly make it home. There is no better time than the present to leave this place better than we found it. I'm grateful to serve alongside of a team of leaders who continue to grow in their effectiveness as public servants. In 2008, the city's workforce was 177 employees. In 2024, we did even more work with 138 staff. As we enter 2025, I will continue to be guided by a commitment to ensuring our employees have the tools, training, and accountability to do the work well and go home safely at the end of their shift. These investments increase our productivity. I'm grateful to work alongside of you as a city council that understands and often leads the way in ensuring that our staff are competitively compensated for their work. Reviewing the 2024 annual reports, here are a few highlights and accomplishments from each department last year. Chief Tony Johnson and the firefighters received a new engine to ensure 2 reliable frontline platforms for us. Service calls increased by about 6% from 1,473 to 1,567. Of last year's calls, 70% of those were rescue and medical calls. Architectural firm Shive Hatterley was selected to begin designing a new station for us. The training highlight in 2024 was certifying 34 hazmat technicians to be well prepared to handle whatever may come our way. Chief Corey Boxell and his leadership team of the Huntington Police Department continue to protect and serve every resident in our city. As both new and experienced officers implement technology to strengthen investigations and solve crimes faster, we remain committed to the basic principle that our #1 asset is our roster. New officer Abigail Fullerton graduated #1 in her class at the academy this year. We're very proud of that accomplishment. We also were able to partner with the Huntington County Community School Corporation and Huntington County Sheriff's Department to expand the school resource officer program throughout our community. As seasoned officers retire, our recruitment process continues to integrate quality hires into our ranks. Our Department of Public Works and Engineering Services worked extremely hard this year to keep major projects in both the public and private sector on schedule. Construction of long-term control plan projects 7, 8, and 9 continued throughout 2024, with significant progress made on projects 7 and 8 and the completion of project 9. Reconstruction and reopening of LaFontaine Street, or LaFountain if you're local, provided significant relief to traffic congestion. Reconstruction of Division Street was pushed back to this year due to issues with utility relocations by AT&T and Comcast. Meanwhile, the Cottage Park and Jessup Neighborhood Project commenced to fulfill a city plan and promise from 1972 to mitigate stormwater in that neighborhood. The department also oversaw paving just under 5.5 miles of city streets and alleys. Director Bryn Keplinger and the team in community development and redevelopment continued to see strong growth throughout our city. The value of permitted construction projects in 2024 was around $30.9 million, a 50% increase from 2023. 52 new residences were permitted in 2024 at an average value of $209,446. The Destination Downtown Master Plan was adopted by Council in April and served as the foundation for both the city's lease revenue bonds issued in the fall, as well as the Community Foundation's successful application for $4 million for downtown riverfront improvements. We'll be presenting more on that at Huntington University's Community Foundation breakfast tomorrow morning. Street Superintendent Tim Bischoff and his team in city services are responsible for Huntington's 95 miles of streets and 25 miles of paved alleys. Our community owes our street department a great deal of thanks for coming in at all odd hours to ensure our streets remain clear. Their hard work also helps us prepare for severe weather by keeping stormwater drains clear and applying brine to high traffic areas before winter storms like we've experienced recently. Street employees were responsible for just under 8 miles of crack sealing preventive maintenance. City Utilities Distribution Superintendent Nate Getz has done a good job of training new hires to fill roster holes in the department. He and the team work closely with both the street and engineering departments to continue improving the city's water and wastewater distribution systems. In addition to typical duties, 2024 was the year the team built out our lead service line inventory in compliance with federal law. Emmy Simpson surveyed 60 miles of water main and identified 26 hidden leaks that our team was able to repair. Repairs in this instance saved city ratepayers almost $30,000 annually. The contract with Emmy Simpson also includes inspecting 47 large meters and replacing the 5 that failed testing. Additionally, the distribution team performed like rock stars in addressing 6 simultaneous water main breaks on the 4th of July caused by a semi-truck taking out a fire hydrant downtown and creating a water hammer effect. With the ability to inspect the water mains up close and personal, we are including water and wastewater projects in downtown improvement. F&V Operations continues to provide excellent service managing the city's water and wastewater treatment facilities. While the city maintains ownership of these assets, F&V ensures full compliance with the Indiana Department of Environmental Management regulations, handles routine maintenance of our facilities, including implementing new standards for CSO4 treatments at our wastewater treatment plant that went into effect last April. The annual costs for the operations contract are significantly lower than if the city were to take on those responsibilities internally again. F&V leadership is also helping the city think through opportunities to lower operational costs further yet through on-site power generation. This is especially critical as we work with Lockmuller Engineering, Baker Tilly, and the Indiana Finance Authority to identify a financing strategy and designs to replace lead service lines throughout portions of the city, as well as the city's South Water Treatment Plant that's been in operation since built in 1959. In fact, it's old enough to retire and collect Social Security at this point, as long as there's still money in the trust. We will be presenting more detailed information to council at upcoming meetings this quarter. Parks and Recreation Superintendent Steve Yoder had a very busy year. We're excited to cut the ribbon on a new inclusive park design at Drover Park and to work with volunteers to install new equipment at Hyers Park. The historic Stone Race Preservation Project was completed in Memorial Park in cooperation with Bryn and Adam and their departments. We also cut the ribbon on a new Erie Trail connection, an entirely volunteer-driven installation of a replica of the National Iwo Jima Monument in Memorial Park. Volunteer coordinating efforts overcame transition challenges to see over 99 volunteers contribute 2,700 hours to their neighbors, including the return of our annual cleanup walk down a section of the Little River. Especially want to highlight the contributions of Faith Community Church and New Life Ministries Mission Group for helping us turn over the sand at Elmwood Park Volleyball Court. Their efforts are setting the stage to bring back a great warm weather activity for us all at that park. Meanwhile, Megan Thompson continues to create new and innovative programming to engage people of all ages and help them enjoy our parks. We saw over 1,000 attendees at the Daddy-Daughter Dances and Mother-Son Extravaganza, hosted over 1,500 students through the Spark program this summer, thanks to our great program directors. Meanwhile, often behind the scenes, Director of Operations Annette Carroll continued to guide and direct improvements to citywide policies and procedures. Her diligent work with departments on hiring, compliance, and safety training has helped us to control cost increases for healthcare and property insurance while still providing competitive benefits to our workforce. 2024 was a busy and productive year for our city. Our work in 2025 is well underway as we solidify the plans from 2024 and work towards implementation. My resolve remains to keep believing in and working for a better Huntington. As the second largest city in Northeast Indiana, I am not content, and we can and we will do better as we keep investing our lives into this community. As we step up to the plate, we're going to keep our eye on the ball regarding several initiatives. We have a tremendous opportunity to redevelop our downtown through public-private partnerships. Designing the second phase of infrastructure at River Fork West began even before we joined Teijin for their ribbon cutting in May of last year. The local board that was formed to lead our efforts to launch a Southside grocery store again is making good progress navigating complicated things like federal securities law, though I have to acknowledge we will not meet my campaign goal of opening next month. City Council's authorization of the 2024 lease revenue bonds allows us to remodel City Hall, renovate downtown streetscapes, make major improvements at Memorial Park, extend our trail system, and explore the possibility of opening a community pool. I especially want to thank and give credit to our city council members, to our clerk treasurer. Your questions, your experience, your feedback, your accountability sharpen every idea that our team brings forward, and we appreciate it. I hear horror stories from other communities around the state regarding local elected officials creating unnecessary drama for one another. It distracts from the real purpose of public service. I am truly grateful that we don't experience that here. We don't do that. We may not always agree on the details, but we are all genuinely committed to delivering continuous improvements and better results for all of our city residents. Running hard after these opportunities won't distract us from our practical, diligent approach to solving problems impacting our residents and local businesses. We will redouble our efforts to get accurate and timely information in the hands of residents. As we work together, I reaffirm my annual promise to you. There will be bumps and bruises along the way. Anytime humans are involved, we can count on misunderstandings and failures to communicate. But we have also seen the benefit of practicing humility and graciousness in our discourse and actions. Thank you for joining me in that work because our lives and our future depend on it. Let us take up the work of serving alongside one another as we seek to make Huntington the city we are all proud to call home. Thank you. Council members, do you have any questions for me at this time? All right. Thank you. I'm not aware of any petitions or comments from citizens this evening. Christy, is that correct? Okay. Not having, moving along to consideration for old business, we have second reading of ordinance 3C25. Christy?
Ordinance 3C25. This ordinance, if adopted, would amend the official zoning map of the city of Huntington by changing the zoning of a specified parcel of real estate located north of East Market Street, east of Guilford Street, west of North-South Alley between Guilford and Byron, and south of East Washington Street from R2 residential to mixed use.
Is there a motion to bring ordinance 3C25 to the floor for consideration and adoption on second reading?
So moved. Second.
A motion and second. If council members have any questions pertaining to the ordinance, we do have Director Kiplinger here with us this evening to answer those. Any questions or further discussion on the matter? Seeing as it's not the first time it's appeared before us, we will call the question in favor of adoption on second and final reading of ordinance 3C25. Christie?
Felton?
Yes.
Funk?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Pike?
Yes.
Rensberger?
Yes.
Brottigam,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm not aware of any new business for the evening. Any miscellaneous items for the good of the order? Okay, not hearing any. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion and second. Further discussion and consideration? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Bye, Charlie.
Good night.